Season 2, episode 9.
Sorry.
9. Episode 9,
Oh,
bitch.
shit, okay.
Season 2, episode 9. Welcome
to
the Energy and Heart Podcast.
hosted by
Jiggy
and Steph.
Da-da! Go ahead.
We're gonna start off with what happened last weekend, I guess, for me. So last weekend was or actually no, this weekend is Lunar New Year. But my family decided to celebrate it a week early. So Kato came over to like see my family, and this is the first time my older brother's been home, and we've all kind of like, we were all supposed to be together, me and my older brother and my little brother, but then his flight got delayed. So there was just us and my older brother, which is really cool. Because I think I might have shared this. Actually, I don't know if I shared this in a podcast, but I went to visit him a little while back, and it wasn't like the best time. And that's because he was like really stressed out about his job. And it just wasn't a good time to meet up. And so seeing him this time, we were both like much more chill, much more like laid back and relaxed. And so it was actually really nice to hang out. And Kato shared that I feel like with family stuff, it's always a hit or miss. And I feel like, I know for me in the past, it's always been kind of like big energy expenditure to like spend time with other like families. But Kato said it was like really pleasant for him. So that's really nice. Yeah. And then on Sunday, we decided to take a day trip to San Diego to see our friends, Sini and Sheena.
Wait. Who are they? Who are these people?
So they're the dog parents of Safi the Pomsky. I feel like you have to put like a clip of Safi to help them understand. But
what do you want to say to Noah?
Bitch.
it was the first time that Safi and Noah met each other, and I remember meeting Safi like a month or two ago, and just thinking like, dude, she's so spazzy. She's seriously like the videos, super spazzy in real life, tons of energy. And I was like, dude, Noah and her would totally get along. They meet and they play for the next like 7 hours.
Love
like
at first sight.
barely any resting. And they're just so sweet. They sit like next to each other. Aww. And like there was this one video we got of them where like she's trying to play with him. So they're like laying down and she like taps his head to like get his attention. It was so cute. And so like,
and they have their own Instagram page now.
I know. So like we just got a lot of cute videos of them. So then we just decided like, oh, like they look like a bear and a wolf. So like follow at bear and a wolf.
Damn.
Yeah, so it was really fun. I think like so Suni is actually one of Kato's best friends, like from college. And I think it's like the coolest thing when like you and your partner and their like best friend, their partner, like we all get along.
Dude, that's
like,
the dream.
Super well. Yeah. And so it wasn't like, oh, we should create an Instagram. It literally is just like, we just want to hang out and have a reason for our dogs to hang out. It just so happens that they're really fun and cute together.
Yeah.
So yeah, super serendipitous.
Aww.
Super fun. Yeah.
Dude, I think it's funny when people send me videos of Safi thinking that I would just like the content because I love animal videos. They're like, oh, Jiggy, look at this. I'm like, you don't know that I know whose dog that is.
Yeah.
And that's how you know you made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Aww,
that was my weekend.
so
But it was really nice to, honestly, like after spending the weekend away, I came back. It was really nice to see you. So,
Me?
Yeah.
Is it not always nice to see me?
No, but it's just like because I was gone away for the weekend.
Yeah.
I make it sound like I've been away for so
Honestly,
long.
I feel like we haven't like seen each other.
Like seen each other, like hung out.
Like,
Yeah.
Dude, yesterday something really funny happened. So dude, that was weird. Okay. So I was in the garage. I was coming out of my car, and from the garage into the apartment building, I have to open this door. And so I'm opening the door, and as I open the door, there's this woman there who's also opening the door from the other side to get into the garage. And so at first I thought it was just a random ass neighbor, and I was like, oh, sorry. And then I look at the person, and the person's looking at me, and we're both staring at each other, not saying anything, not moving, and we're realizing that we are each other. I ran into Steph and Steph ran into me. But our brains needed some time to process, like, oh, I know this person.
Yeah.
This is my best friend.
Yeah.
We're running into each other. And we just stared at each other.
Dude.
And I looked at her and I was like, did you have to process that you just ran into me too?
Yes.
And she's like, yeah. And it's just one of those things where, like, remember a few episodes ago,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, if we hadn't lived in the same building, like, every moment counts. And this is just one of those moments that I'm going to remember.
I know. It was so amusing.
Dude, that was
I
hilarious.
actually kept laughing after I went back.
Yeah, me too.
I kept laughing into the garage.
And the thing is, like, I was carrying really random shit. Like,
she had a fucking Brita, like,
I had my
container.
Brita
I was
filter
so
container.
confused. I was like, I know you go to practice, but isn't that kind
a
of like
whole ass Brita filter?
Yeah.
And my water jug. But
Yeah.
because I left my water jug in the car and I needed to fill it up.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Uh,
I was on my way down to just grab like a bag of clothes from my car.
Yeah.
I would never normally do that. So random.
Yeah. Anyhow, that's what happened. I personally don't really want to talk about my weekend, so
We love boundaries.
we love boundaries here. Yay! So yeah, let's just get into today's topic. What is today's topic? I think if we just kind of like talk about what's alive for us, maybe
Yes.
it'll be a theme.
Oh, as in you're suggesting me to say
Yeah.
it. Okay. What's life for me right now? Honestly, like this is like week 3 of January. Like, I remember, I did a reflection exercise called Your Compass. I shared it with Jiggy towards the end of 2022, and one of the activities in Your Compass, shout out to Norman, thank you for that, is that you look back at every single week of your past year and you note down like things that happen, achievements, like whatever's significant to you, who you saw and stuff like that. And I just remember in like looking back at January of last year, there's literally one box in my GCal that says put out a bunch of fires. I know exactly what was happening that time. There's like a lot going on in RBTL. But I just remember looking at that being like, wow, how sad was it that like 2 weeks into the year, like I made it through 1 week before like things got really intense and crazy. But I feel just like really at peace right now. I'm really calm and like really happy, honestly. It's like week 3, and all I can think about is I feel a lot of abundance. Like I feel like every single day there's been like news of something that's been like really positive, either for like my friends or myself. And I think I'm just kind of like taking a moment to actually be with that, instead of like, oh, let's like move to the next thing, or like, oh, like the shoe's gonna drop, like if this happens, like something else is gonna go wrong or something like that. And I was like, you know what, at some point something will probably go wrong, but like I think right now I just want to like bask in like how happy and like how awesome the first, I don't know, 3 weeks of the year has been.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like what's coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I did that exercise too, and Steph and I happened to be on the phone like right after I finished the 2022 review. And I was just telling her, I just like started crying, and I was like, dude, I'm sorry. I just finished that first part of the exercise you sent me, and I'm realizing what a shitty year I've had. For my reflection, it was as if every week was trying to catch up with the world. It felt like every week was just me trying to just achieve all of my goals that I set out for myself, except that it's as if I didn't want to give space and time for myself to grieve my dad's passing, because I had such big aspirations for that year. I had so many ideas. I finally thought that I was finally in a good place to launch all these projects and achieve them and all of this stuff. I had so many expectations, and every single week it just looked and sounded as if I wanted to put my grieving aside and just do what I say I was gonna accomplish. And the year just went by so fast. Like every week was some shit. And yeah, I think last year was just so hard, but this year coming in, I just knew that I had to make it through December and January. Like I just knew that something inside me. I feel like I'm on almost at the I felt like I was just drowning in deep down in an ocean. And like I feel like I'm almost at the top of the water where I can finally breathe. I don't think I'm there yet, but I think I'm really, really close. Cause even the beginning of this year was already really hard for me. But I feel as though it's really close to breath and life. And I was thinking about what we talked about yesterday outside when you said that, guys, I'm going through this like, what do you call it? Like spiritual awakening transition, like this whole thing. And basically, we were talking about gratitude, and I'm learning this new concept, this new idea, the different side of gratitude that I didn't understand before. And I told her I finally understand why it's so important to be grateful, which is a weird sentence, but it doesn't mean what it sounds like it means. But I was telling her, like, I'm finally understanding why it's so important to be grateful and why it's so important to set out an intention every day, like set out time in the day to be grateful. And she said something along the lines of, yes, and it's not something that you have to do intentionally. It just so happens to happen. You happen to be grateful when you're present. So it's not just about being grateful, going out of your way to, write 10 things that you're grateful for. It's like, what if you lived in the moment and being present in all of the moments of life every day, all day? You just can't help but be grateful. And so I've been thinking about that since you said it. And even this morning, I'm just like, I can feel my anxiety coming up because my anxiety's been so bad lately. But when I think about what you said and just like come back to center and be present, because I can tell if I focus so much on being grateful, then I get more anxiety. Like, why am I having such a hard time being grateful? Like, I know I'm in a good place right now. I know I'm okay. Everything is fine. And why is it so hard to be grateful? Versus just breathe and just be present. Look around you. You live in K-Town. You love your apartment. Your apartment is filled with great furniture now where your friends love to come over and take a nap on your couch, which is great. You go out, step outside, there's palm trees. Your dog's here. You have a really hot girlfriend. Like, everything is fine right now. Right now in this moment, everything is okay. I'm like, I can breathe.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's such a... See, the thing is, like, all of these things I feel like are very easy to understand as, like, a concept, right? Everyone understands you should be grateful. Everyone understands you should breathe. Everyone understands you should be present, right? But, like, I think it's the space between knowing and embodying that like, people have a hard time crossing, too. Right? And so a lot of us are just stuck thinking about it and thinking that there's something to do. Like, I have to write 10 things. I have to, like, list stuff on my phone. I have to, like, tell Steph, like, these, like, it's not something to do. It's just, like, to be. And I know I sound freaking crazy, but, like, that's
but
literally
I get
it.
it now.
But yeah, I know, because it's
like,
embodied now. Like, and then, like, I just laugh because I feel like we're experiencing this at the same time, but like on our own experiences. But I thought I would bring up, because you brought up this point, I was able to kind of make sense of this with Jiggy, because Kato and I were talking about, and this is a continuation of what we talked about last time in terms of like the concept of like time as a construct, right? Like, Kato really asked me, like, what if you just removed like, okay, you have to get here within the next year, like with RBTL, like you have to succeed by X time, or succeed in the next decade, or like in the next 5 years, or whatever, like whatever timeline is. Like, if you just remove that, right? Because when you have that timeline, what ends up happening is you just keep focusing on that timeline. It's like, oh, well, even though this awesome like gig or this awesome session happened, like, we got to move faster. We got to get there to like by next year, like, oh, by next month, right? And it doesn't allow you to actually like celebrate and be with like what's actually like the gravity and like the expansiveness of what actually occurred. And so he's like, if you just let go of the timeline and just focus on like being here every single moment, then you will be here the entire time. Versus like if you wait until, okay, well, once you achieve that at 10 years, then like, then what? Like, then you were like stressed out the entire time that you're getting there. And so I think that's like the premise of like why this year seemingly feels so good, even though virtually nothing has changed. Nothing has changed virtually between December and now. It's not like we made $1 million like over the last month, right? Like, so then what's changed?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like it's all about like being here and being present, and that's not to say that bad things don't happen. Like, they definitely do. Like, things are very difficult. Things that are difficult still come up, but I think it's just like, how can we like honor that and also like let it pass through us and not like attach and hold on, like make a ton of meaning and like be like, oh my god, this thing happened, oh well, life is over. It's just like that's literally what I think screws us up. Like, is like our brain just goes from like A to Z instead of like allowing it to actually like pass through.
Dude, life is not supposed to be lived as if there's like a perfect manual where we have to follow it step by step perfectly. And you know, I'm about to say it, fucking capitalism and hustle culture always makes it seem like there has to be a sense of urgency. And if you don't get somewhere by a certain age, by a certain time, then you have basically failed. I saw a post, Kaylani reposted it the other day, but the post said that why is success only based upon something surviving for a really long time? Versus just when it closes, it's not that you quit, it's not that you lost, it's not that you failed, it's just that it's closing its time that it's meant to live. And so, for example, if somebody opens up a business, okay, like, why does the business have to be running for the rest of our lives in order to be considered successful, for that person to be considered successful, versus one day you're just like, you feel complete, you're done, and you're ready for the next thing. And even if it's a hobby, and one day you're like, I think I'm ready to move on to learning another new thing in life. Like, why is that considered quitting versus that journey being complete? And it's like, yeah, why are we so stuck on this like winning mentality and what that winning mentality looks like in a certain way? Why can't us taking care of our health also be winning? Why can't we us taking our time and being gentle with ourselves also be winning? That we're able to achieve something and all the while still being able to sustain our relationships and our health be winning. Like, why is it only about getting to a certain stage? Like, I remember the first time I met you and your business partner were talking about the 30 under 30 thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you guys were like obsessed. I mean, your partner more than you, but like, you guys were like obsessed about achieving that. And I used to wonder, like, but what about the impact? Like, it's important to her or y'all, but like, so what? Like, you can get there, but so what? Like, what is the impact? And it's like that. It's like, oh, somebody made it to 30 under 30. Somebody got to do a TED Talk. Somebody da-da-da-da-da. These are all just like labels, though. It's great. It's great achievement, but like, what about the impact, though? I don't know. I'm starting to think that, I swear I'm going through some shit. But these things are like, are they meaningful?
Yeah.
Are they influential? Are they actually like stirring hearts? Or does it just look nice? It's all artificial.
Yeah.
Nothing matters. Suck into the bagel.
Can you sing Sucked Into the Bagel?
Sucked into the bagel. Sucked in to the bagel.
I don't know what I'm going through right now. I'm just,
No,
but
nothing does that.
Here's
No,
the thing.
It's all label. It's all man-made.
Here's the thing. Here's what just fucks me up about society, like capitalism, hustle culture, everything. Everybody only wants to like take everything so literally for what is being said or what is being written, and then don't do any critical thinking or like individual reflection of their own to start to see things between the lines. Everything is so literal.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how else to explain it other than, you know what I recently realized? The Bible is man-made. And I don't know how else to explain it. The Bible is man-made based upon perception of one person's experience. But we all know that anybody can take one experience and have different opinions.
Mm-hmm. And express
And
it
so it's
differently.
like no wonder, like I've said this before in private conversations, but like the Bible doesn't make me feel very good. And I know that they're like, oh, the Bible's not supposed to make you feel very good. Da, 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 da. But like religion itself is so 10 commandments, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it. There's no in between. Like da da da. But you know what? God is so vast and we cannot humanly possibly fathom it. But as humans, we want to take everything that we hear and see, put it into our own perception that makes sense, and then say that is what is fact and that is what is true. Versus like being able to sort of like see between the lines and read between the lines and relate between the lines. Like it's not just, I said this before, but humans are like literal people. They're going to take everything literally. If somebody says, oh, you team no sleep and you can never sleep as an entrepreneur, they're literally not going to sleep. Versus like, can I get some sleep?
Yeah.
And that's why the world is exactly what it is. It's like people believe that like hustle culture, there are people out there who think that hustle culture is healthy. It's what it takes, like losing sleep and sacrifices, all of these things, like hard work, like they're all necessary for sure, but it's also not the only way. But people think that it's the only way because it's the only thing that's being taught. And people take things literally.
I think life is very nuanced. Life is very nuanced, and I think a lot of us have a hard time being in that gray area. It's much simpler to stand on a hill and like say like, yeah, team no sleep, right? Like it's much easier to just go a one track mind, right? Like just have one idea that you can stand behind. Like of course. But I think that's because as a default, it's much easier.
Certainty creates
Yeah.
safety.
Yeah, it's
And
much
humans want to be safe.
Yes, it's much easier to be safe than to be like, oh shit, maybe there is another world. Because again, your whole entire world shatters if you decide to go that route. And so then you have to face like, what is it? What does this mean? What does this mean about all the other years that I've like preached about this? Like, no, I got to keep going, right? And so like, I think it's because we struggle to be with nuance. Like that's why like people preach like one thing only, right? But I feel like there's just so much more, and I think we miss out when we don't
That's why
allow for
vulnerability
that.
is dope.
Yeah.
The uncertainty, the risk taking. Dude, life. I don't smoke. I'm not high right now. I promise. It's just that like life.
You just woke up.
Life is about just becoming. Like
Yes.
oh, and we talked about this, but shit, guys, like I still believe in the importance of goal setting, and I still believe in the importance of like striving to live out our dreams, because at the end of the day, when dreams come true, we're simply only becoming what we're supposed to become. Like it's been our destiny all along. Our dreams coming true can sometimes seem so far away, and maybe it seems so disconnecting sometimes as to where it's just an idea, but it's not just an idea, it's the future. You're assigned to that future, and when a dream comes true, you it's not like you all of a sudden own it. You owned it all along. You're only just becoming what you're supposed to become. Like, this was yours all along. But that, because it's your own dream, you cannot follow the timeline of other people. When you set goals, do it for yourself to become who you're supposed to become, not because everybody else is over here talking about goal setting. The goals are supposed to help you achieve your dreams, but that's to say your goals are supposed to help you become who you're supposed to become. That cannot happen alongside other people's timelines. You have to follow your own timeline. And fuck a timeline. Time's a construct.
Yeah.
If it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So might as well enjoy and be present every moment along the way. Oh my God, I swear I'm not high.
Dude,
What is this? What is happening?
I think the reason why is because the reason why dreams are so and like achievements are so big is because in this society, like, that's the only thing that's celebrated. You can only celebrate once you get there. Right? You can only celebrate like once you achieve it. You can only celebrate once you hit the finish line. But like, I ran 26.2 miles. I ran a marathon like back in 2020, okay? You better be celebrating every single step of the way, otherwise you're not gonna make it, okay? Like, I think my proudest moment was not even the finish line. My proudest moment was like between mile 19 and 20. Because I'd gone straight, like I ran straight the entire time. Between 19 and 20 is when I was just like, this is it. Like, I don't remember the finish line. I remember that moment because I was just like, this is like truly like when it counts. Like, everything is counted, but like this moment actually means more like than that end part, right? And so like I think the reason why it's so difficult for us to fathom like anything else is because society has told us that you can only celebrate at the end, but you should actually be celebrating every part of the way. And I feel like you should be listening to yourself every part of the way. So when you're talking about like going on your own timeline, right? Like, I think a lot of people don't understand that because we're just so conditioned to listen to other people. We're so conditioned to seek outside like perspectives or opinions or whatever, and we don't actually sit in stillness to hear ourselves and our own voices. We're so stuck doom scrolling. We're like listening to everyone else but ourselves. And so it was so funny because I changed my Instagram profile bio yesterday and I was like, and like my tagline is now like, life becomes magical once we're brave enough to listen to our hearts. And I was like, because that's all that like when I take the essence of like, because people always ask you like, how did you know like to quit your job? How do you know do this? How do you know? And I'm just like, you don't know it, you just feel it. Like, that's literally all it is. And like when I pull the essence of like every single decision that has gotten me to where I am, it's always been listening to your heart. It's always been there. Yeah. So the thing is like, you just have to trust that you already know. Like you said, you've been there the entire way, right? You just have to sit down and actually listen to that.
Right.
It's actually that simple.
Yeah.
But I think it's so hard because we are so stuck in so much every day. And so that's why it's so important to like take care of your body, take care of yourself, have spaciousness. Like, that's the only way you can access like what your heart really wants to tell you.
Yeah, the book that I'm reading, Conversations with God, this dude is basically talking to God. And God is like, the dude is like, are there only specific special people who can hear you, or can anybody hear you? And God said, yo, anybody can, I talk to anybody. I don't just pick people who I want to talk to. I talk to anybody. But it's about who the fuck is listening to me, though.
There you go.
And it's like, how do you listen then? Well, it's always feelings first. What you feel is actually the strongest communication. You might hear me sometimes, you might read it sometimes, but actually words are like the least powerful because humans take things so literally and they make their own meaning out of it. He said, but what you feel is the direct communication. If you feel as though something is not sitting right, it's true. If you don't feel peace, you don't feel joy, you're right. Like, it's not supposed to be in your life. And I know I've said before, is like as a performance coach and as a motivational speaker, I always say like, yo, it's not just about celebrating the finish. It's not about just celebrating the wins, but also every step of the way. Like small wins are also wins. And I say that because psychologically enthusiasm enhances performance. Like that's the psychology of performance. And I know I said that. And now it's also that life, every single moment of life is a miracle and it's magical. And it's like, why not just be present and be like, yo, this is really dope right now. Like, we're just like alive in this space together. We never had to meet. We never had to have Kev here. We never had to be here. But somehow, miraculously, we're all here just like jamming out about this shit. And that's a miracle within itself. And it's so
it
magical.
makes me want to cry.
I don't know. This is a really weird episode. How did we get here? We were just talking about our killing hustle culture. Like when we first started the podcast, we were just like, oh, we're gonna kill hustle culture. Two badass business owners talking about like mental health for entrepreneurs and shit. No, now it's like, you know what? Helping entrepreneurs, anybody, just amplify the quality of your life.
Yes. Oh, that's
Woo!
That's it. Wait, we need to change the
We're not high.
We're really not. I woke up and I was really grateful. That's
oh
what
my
happened.
God, what's happening?
And that's it.
Okay.
I think that's the episode.
Oh my God.
I love us so much.
Oh my God. Man, what the fuck is gonna be season 3? What the fuck is gonna? What is
this? Is the year? Y'all gotta follow along. This is we said this is the year. This is actually the year for sure.
Oh my God. Okay. I don't think I have anything else to say.
That's. I think you ended it really well. So we gotta do that.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. If that didn't make sense, that's okay.
Come back. Just bookmark
one day
it.
you'll come back.
Bookmark it and come back.
One
like
day
it will
back.
make sense.
Yeah.
Yes. We believe in you.
All right. Bye.
Is that it?
Not me just dropping in there. I have a really hot girlfriend.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, okay, casual.